Forge. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. So one such company in if we're starting the recording now, I'm just going to quickly reintroduce myself. I'm Steve. I'm the one of the leaders for our space competition, and thanks for joining us today for our question and answer session. We'll do a little space news and then talk about the competition and jump into Q&A. So back to the space news in the news lately, there's a lot of information about mining asteroids and companies interested in getting them for precious metals, particularly platinum metals, gold, and other what we call rare earth metals. And one such company called Astroforge launched a spacecraft in the end, I believe it was the end of February. They're from the United States. Their spacecraft was only 6.1 million dollars or pounds, but somewhere in that range. So that's very, very, very cheap, very inexpensive. But unfortunately, after a few weeks, they've lost communications with their satellite. The satellite's called Odin, and um, it's the idea behind Odin was to get to the asteroid in about a year's time and start to understand it, map it, characterize it, so they could bring another satellite out to land on it. But I think what's interesting about this particular project that is that we need to remember that space is hard. It requires a lot of effort to get things right, and I my hats off to them for trying. I hope that they continue on with their next mission, but just and that they might be able to regain communications with the satellite Odin in due course. But so far they've lost communications, which is unfortunate. But hopefully it's on its way out to the asteroid. And then the other piece of news I wanted to share today was actually coming from Oman. So the ETLAQ is a new launch pad that's going to be developed in Oman as a part of a company called PLD Space, which is a new launch vehicle company that's actually based out of Spain. So Spain is actually looking for two other sites around the world, and they've made a partnership in the Middle East with Oman to pull a new space port together, which is absolutely great for the region. In addition to having a spaceport in Spain, um, which just provides additional opportunities for access to space. So I thought I would share about that. I thought that was pretty exciting this week. Great. So enough with the news. Moving on to the competition. So today I wanted to focus our time on the judging criteria. So, as you all probably know, on the phone, on the call here, we have extended our competition deadline to halfway through April. We do not plan to extend it beyond then, so don't think that there's going to be another extension. We did that just to accommodate a few countries because of some holidays, so that we could have more people uh, come on board. But we don't expect to do that again. There's no plans to do that. So really what you need to be thinking about is with your design is how are you going to capture the imagination and how are you going to capture the judges because they're going to be seeing quite a few um, competition entries. And so one thing that I think is really important in competitions is that you focus on the criteria. And those are we have five pieces of criteria and I want to talk about each one a little bit and then we'll open it up to questions. So the first competition criteria is around innovation. And innovation is a really interesting word, it means a lot of things to a lot of people, but in its simplistic form, it's talking about unique ideas, new ideas that maybe haven't been thought of before, or something that makes things faster or better or less expensive. For me personally, where I find innovation is the most exciting is when you're able to take something from one industry or one sector and combine it with something from another sector. So, for example, if we were something that could be very innovative for this project, and I'm not suggesting this is what you should necessarily say, I'm literally making this up on the spot. Um, but if, let's say, there's a technology here that's used in, say, the Formula One race car um, industry, that is really, really just amazing. Let's say there's an amazing heat exchanger that can exchange heat really well. If we're able to figure out a way to kind of couple that with something that we're using in space, that could be something that's very innovative. Using something from maybe another industry we didn't expect. But at the core of innovation, it's really about making people's lives either better, easier, or faster, or cheaper. So really want you to think about that when it comes to innovation. The second piece is around sustainability, which is very much about how are we going to keep our habitat on Mars running consistently. So it's pretty likely that any sort of base that's on Mars will require what we would call top ups here in the UK, or additional resources that we send from Earth to Mars. So that would be water, that would be air, that would be food, that would be materials. But eventually, we need that colony on Mars to be sustainable, to be able to use the resources on Mars and not be dependent on Earth. So I really want you to think about how do you make a sustainable habitat, something that's going to use the resources of Mars, or other innovative resources you can think of to really make that happen. All right, the third is feasibility. So now this one's a little bit tough because when we think about going to Mars, I can just safely say, being working in the space industry for 25 years, that it is really, really, really hard to go to Mars. First of all, about 50% of the spacecraft that have gone there have crashed or failed. All right, so it's not easy. But second, it's also really, really, really expensive. It's very expensive. And when we talk about feasibility, we talk about two things. We talk about technical feasibility, like is it something that can be made, and economic feasibility, is it something that we can afford? And I think this is going to be one of the hardest things to really think about for our habitat on Mars. Because honestly, there's probably, like, if we were able to, for example, have an infinite amount of money, we could probably just start sending stuff over to Mars like crazy and just keep sending stuff because we have pretty much the technology that we could live on Mars, but we just don't have an infinite amount of money. So it's really kind of coming up with that balance of like, okay, what are ways that we can make it make it work where the humans survive, we're able to be sustainable, but then also with cost in mind, that how do we make it so that we keep costs down? So I think this is going to be a tricky one, and really encourage you to think carefully about that. Number four is design quality. So I think one thing that really set the winners aside last year, that won last year, was that they really, really thought through the design very carefully. They need entertainment. They need food. They need shelter. They need schooling. They need um, um, you know, family time. They need all sorts of things. So the people that won really thought about the kind of the whole human experience and being on Mars. So providing that detail helps us understand that you really thought through the design. And then finally, presentation. I can't stress this enough. The winners last year had amazing presentations because once we got to the kind of finalists and we were doing the final presentations to the judges, the ones that really stuck out just had very well thought out videos or models, or they showed that they had tested some things. It was just kind of wowed the judges of like, this is just really well presented. So really think about your presentation. Are there tools that you can use to help make your presentation better? Video tools, etc. I think one question we've had is around the use of AI. It is okay to use AI from the perspective of um, helping you with idea generation and maybe pulling some bits here and there, but really it can't be an AI created submission. It has to be your submission and your work. And we will disqualify folks if they basically use AI in any way that just basically is a hey, told AI to make this presentation for me and here you go. That's just not going to cut it. We can the judges will be able to tell if if yeah, if everything is kind of not created by yourselves. Um, Again, so you can use it as a tool to help, but you can't use it to effectively say this is the end product. So yeah, really think about that presentation. Wow us. Mika, you want to wow her? She's one of the judges. And I think that is all for the main judging criteria that I want you guys to think about. So we'll open it up to questions. So the way we're going to do this is if you have a question, go ahead and just type it in the chat and I'll answer it there. Or if you're feeling incredibly brave, you can go off mute and ask your question that way. So I'll give you some time to do some questions. Chat. So if there's any questions that have
Okay.
come in, for some reason I can't seem to get the chat up.
Okay.
There we go.
If you have questions, you can unmute or you can text over the chat. Oh, uh, there's one question
Okay,
from Autumn Sin. So, can we use AI to create a picture of our habitat?
so this is a good question. I think um, if you basically use AI and it says, make a picture of a habitat, and that's what you present, that would show me that you haven't really thought about it or put any work into it. You're just using AI to generate some image. If, however, you are using AI because you have designed something, for example, I don't know, let's say it's one part of the habitat or one specific bit, and you work very hard to try to you want it to look like this and this, and you might use AI to try to help you come up with that. But then when you have the image, it's just a part of your overall habitat, and that you talk very much in detail about this is what this is the part, and be very forthcoming about this is just a concept drawing using AI of that particular thing. So it can help you, but it can't be the thing. Hopefully that makes sense. The second question that's on there is how much over can the word limit? So this is what I've encouraged everybody to do. We're going to be strict on the word limit. So I believe it's 500 words, if I remember correctly, or is it more than that? There's this very specific on the website. Mika, if you could look that up for me, so that we know exactly the word limit. So there's word limit, there's a presentation, but you can then add what I would call an appendix. So that's kind of assist like backup material that you would like to add. I can't promise that we're going to be able to judge off of that because we're going to have lots of submissions, so we might not be able to read all of that. So you're going to have to think very carefully about how to craft your design in your words and in your images that you show. So Mika, is it do you have the word count? Is it
Yes, 500 words. Yeah.
500? Okay. Great questions. Great questions. Any other questions? And your questions can be about the competition. It could be about Mars. It could be about space in general. Um, yeah, any question is welcome. And if we can't answer the question here, we'll go away and get back to you. Well, let me ask you guys this if you haven't got any more questions. Oh, here we go. Can we take a picture of info? on a panel. Tenu, Tenu, could you maybe explain that a little bit more? Either come off mute or type a little bit more what you mean by taking a picture of a panel. Are you talking about a panel of people, or are you talking about like a panel that's like on the side of a habitat? Okay, yeah, no worries. We'll work on the next question then, which is from Gautam. Can let's see. Oh, sorry, from Nicola. Can we implement technology already made to our Mars habitat? Absolutely, absolutely. So this is, I think, where it comes down to feasibility. To make things feasible, we need to use things that already work. That's one of the things. Will we have to potentially create new technology? Absolutely. So maybe when you think about the sustainability bit, you're going to think, okay, I'm going to need to think about a way to extract water or extract oxygen that may or may not exist here on Earth. But if there's ways that we can leverage technology that's already made, that is a great way to make things feasible, especially if it's technology maybe we haven't thought of to use to take to Mars. So that's a great question, Nicola. All right, looking at Gautam's question, can we talk about while our habitat was being built, or do we need to talk about it when it was completed? Okay, that's a good question. I don't think we've had that one before. Um, so the task at hand is to is to provide a design for a habitat. So what that means is it hasn't been built yet. So for any technology, any spacecraft, any rocket, you have to do a design before you actually build it. And we call this a paper design. So in terms of this competition, let me say one other thing. So when we say paper design in the space industry, there are different levels of design as you go through the process. So, for example, when you first kind of start with an idea or a concept, then you move into a more preliminary design where you start to look at what are the things that I'm going to buy, and then you move into what's called a critical design, where you have all the detailed plans, all the schematics, everything is completely done. For this competition, we're very much closer to the beginning and the concept design. So, because we're only giving you 500 words and the opportunity to provide, I believe it's some pictures and videos. Um, so you're going to be more on the concept side. So it won't have been built yet. If hopefully that answers your question. Okay. All right. Let me see. Tanu's question is: we currently have a panel with information and diagrams about parts and systems not physically showing on our 3D habitat. Can we still send photos of that panel as part of our submission? It's because those parts shown on the panel aren't shown on the habitat clearly. Okay, so I think what you're saying is that um, you have, when you say panel, maybe you're talking about like a slide or like a document that you've put some information and diagrams on, or is it something like physically that exists that you've drawn on and put things on? Either way, I the answer is yes. Take pictures, send those in. Any and all of the hard work that you've done, we would love to see. Okay, I see. So you've made like a 3D version of your habitat. Is that right? So yes, so definitely send pictures of that. We had yes competition entries last year. There were some pretty honestly some pretty amazing models that were developed. So great. So hopefully that answers your question. The answer is yes. Great. All right, from Elam. In addition to addressing the requirements, can we include additional arguments or provide more details in the brief? Is it possible to add more narrative to contextualize and enrich the proposal? Could we include additional materials such as a video? Yes, the answer is yes. So you have to submit according to the rules, which is 500 words. And then, Mika, it's also presentation or video. Can you correct me what if here?
Let me check.
Yeah, she'll get the exact just so that we've got it exact. So we're expecting that part of the submission. That's what we're going to judge off of, but you can additionally provide backup material. That is okay. I can't promise that we are going to judge off of that because we're going to get lots and lots and lots of submissions. So that's one of the important parts of the competition is how to concisely share about your idea. But videos, images, photos, those speak volumes for what it is you're trying to do. So you can label those things. Yeah, absolutely. Good questions, by the way, everybody. Thank you so much. The question I wanted to ask back to you while you're thinking about your questions is, yeah, I wanted to get an idea of how many people have started, but I think two of you have already answered that question. It sounds like two of you have already started your work. Um, so yeah, people have been able to start their designs.
Regarding the presentation or video, um, there's no specific statements, and I think Holly, I think we can also submit video.
Yeah, I think it's in the email
Yeah.
that are you looking at the emails that Amin sent out?
I'm checking the submission page,
Okay. Yeah, you can
and
add files to it. Yes.
yeah.
So what we'll do is this is it's really good questions. So on Monday our team meets. We'll take back to the team just to send a kind of a clarifying email to everybody about what you can submit specifically if it hasn't been entirely clear. I'm pretty sure there's an email that goes out that's a welcome email that shows that kind of detail. But we'll just have that all sent out again. So just check your inboxes next week. Great. Any other questions? So yes, regarding older winners creations. So that came up this last week, and I wasn't happy with the way that it was presented. And actually, I think because it was just yeah, we just didn't have the time to be able to present it in context. Because last year's winners also did a slightly different project with different rules, so it didn't feel right to show what other folks have done in the past. We're thinking hard about how we will show that for this competition on the web page going forward. But yes, I apologize. Yes, I do believe you were told that you would see older winners creations. We talked about it. We even drafted something up. I wasn't quite content with it would possibly send some mixed messages. So apologies about that. But at this time, we're not gonna share that. But thank you for bringing that up, Tanu. I appreciate it. Okay, well, I'm gonna give it one more minute if there's any other questions. Mika or Holly, well, if giving people some time for questions, is there any questions that you've seen come on or heard lately that you think would be worth just sharing with this group?
I think there were more questions on the web page. Maybe I can share the screen. It's from last week, I think.
Okay, You wanna do that real quick, or just actually instead of sharing screen, why don't you just ask one or two of those questions and I'll
I
answer
think
them.
there are 5 questions on the web page.
Okay, well, which go ahead. Let's start with one or two of them.
Number two, I think we already answered. It's that can we include AI generated images, animations, or simulations in the video or PDF to better visualize our concept, or is manual design preferred?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
So again, it's just like I said before. Yes, it can be used to help support what you're doing, but if all we see is just one big AI image for a habitat, um, that that probably won't really cut it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Number two, can we include additional arguments or provide more details in the report? Is it possible to add more storytelling to uh, contextualize and enrich the proposal, include additional materials such as a video?
Yes, the answer
Yes.
is yes.
Yeah. Number three, can we also send the full report and design to receive personalized feedback?
Personalized feedback will be challenging because like I said, I don't know if I'm at liberty to share how many people are applying, but it's a lot, and I don't know if we will have the bandwidth on our team to be able to provide personal feedback for everybody. I would say after the competition, if you are still really keen on getting personal feedback, please do reach out and ask. I'm certain somebody will try to make some time to do that. I think something very important to note is that all of us doing the competition are volunteers. None of us are getting paid for the work that we're doing, and all of us, have families and homes and have to support them. So there's only so much bandwidth that everybody has to be able to participate. So giving personalized feedback for everyone will be very challenging, but I would encourage you after the competition. Um, Whether you won or didn't win, to just email again and say, "Hey, could I get some personal feedback on this?" And we'll see what we can do. I won't make any promises, but I'm sure we can try to do something.
Okay, next question. Shall we submit only a report and the design in the respective formats, or is there flexibility to include additional materials such as video?
Yeah, yeah. So the answer is yes.
Okay, next, what limits do you think the design should have at the time of the proposal? In what proportions is the role of our imagination in relation to past ideas and models? Example, creation of a Ma- Martian exploration vehicle with futuristic technology.
I mean, that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
I don't think there is really any limits per se. I mean, I think, uh, yeah, I don't know if I've struggled to answer that one. Mika, do you have a good answer for that?
Mm.
You're on mute if you're talking, or
Uh, I think I'm not so sure.
yeah, yeah. I'll need to think about that one more, Holly.
We can
Okay,
discuss over,
Yeah, we
yeah.
can discuss
yeah,
that.
I can share it in the group. It's fine.
Great.
Mm.
All right. Any other ones, Holly?
That's all. Yeah, no more questions. Thank you.
Okay, great. We've got another one from Tanu. Well, will there be a website made for this year's winners to show people's winning creations this year globally? Um, that's the intention. So this year, this is our second year doing this. We've got a much bigger team that's helping us out that of volunteers supporting. And so the ideal, and again, I'm not going to make a promise, but I am my promise that it will happen, but I will promise that we are going to try very hard to create on the website that you currently have, a this year's winners and kind of some highlights for them. How we're going to do that, we haven't discussed it yet, but we will try to do that because yeah, it is really cool to see what folks have done, and then potentially for the future years help challenge people to do even better. So good question. Okay, well then, I haven't seen any other questions come through. So, unless Holly or Mika, do you have anything else, or shall we wrap it up?
I'm
I'm
okay.
I'm okay.
Okay, the final thing I want to say to everybody before you go, if you can still see on the screen here, just a reminder, the prizes are pretty cool this year. So, first prize is a scholarship to our Oxford Summer Space and AI course that both Space Store and ABC London are putting on. So, we've already had folks start registering for this event, which is going to be in July. So, it's open to anybody around the world that would like to come to Oxford and join us. We've got astronauts that are giving talks. We've got Oxford University professors giving talks, folks from industry. It's going to be an absolutely amazing course, and it's either 1 or 2 weeks depending on what you're able to do. So do register for that if you're interested. But if you do win the competition, there will be a scholarship for that as well. And finally, the second prize is a gift, a pretty hefty gift card to Space Store. So we have a shop. If you go to our website at spacestore.co, you can see all the goodies that we sell there. It is a pretty meaningful amount of money. So second prize is great, and then third is going to be some additional online course scholarships. So with that, I want to say thanks to Holly and Mika, and especially to all of you who joined from all around the world and all of your time zones. And very good luck on the competition. And I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.